So we had another good question from Sheba Fox from last week, and that is basically, can a female be too big for a male? Do you ever worry about the female crushing it? My take on that would also be, are you worried about the female eating the male? So here's a pair that I wanted to show you guys for size reference. I've never actually personally heard of cannibalism in adult snakes. At this size, females are huge. They can be 3,000, 4,000 grams. Typically, when you start breeding a male, they could be 600, 700, 800 grams. It just depends on the male and whether or not they're ready to breed. I mean, I have 1,200 gram males that still aren't breeding, but this male is, and he started breeding around 700 or 800. So there can be a giant size difference, 3, 4, 5 times the size. And I honestly have not heard of a female harming in a smaller male in any sort of way. So I'll dive into that a little more here. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Take a look at my morph market as well. And also I have a Patreon going. And if you're a past customer, you get giant discounts. If you're not a past customer, you are able to accrue store credit for some of the dues that you pay to the Patreon. So take a look at that. We do have a lot of awesome conversations in our Instagram group. And you also get first dibs on everything that I produce. So, I mean, this female, she laid for me last year. She was probably about 2,500 grams or so. This male is a little over a year old, first season, and he is locking up. You can't see it there, but they are absolutely locked up with no troubles. Let's see who else we have here. He was also locking up to this female here, who again was a proven female for me last year. Produced my only clown pieds for the year last year. She's probably roughly 4 times the size that he is. Here's a pair that have not locked up for me yet. So that's my proven ultra male het pied male back there, who has had a bunch of clutches for me. And this is a new female that I just picked up this year. She's OD Pinstripe Het ultra male, and she's roughly double the size. She's probably a little heftier than the 2 other females I just showed. And this male's a little bigger too. So he's probably roughly half the size of her, because he's a little older than that other male. Let's see what else we have going on here. Here's a pair that I haven't seen lock up yet. This male's locked up with anybody. It's his first season, and this female is probably double the size. She also laid for me last year. So no dice there with that pairing. But ball pythons aren't known for really cannibalism. I've never actually heard of a case of it. I've never had any issues with, a male coming out of a tub and having any sort of an injury or a bite mark or anything like that from a female. It's honestly why I think they're kind of like a perfect snake. They're not aggressive really at all. Every once in a while, yeah, there is an aggressive ball python. I have quite a few in here. This male that he always looks at me sideways. I really wanted him to get one more. This is the female that I ultrasounded yesterday that had 32 millimeter follicles. So I threw this male in there one more time to get another lock, and he is doing a little dance. I've probably posted the reel on Instagram at this point, but he strikes at me every time I come into his tub. He's not now because this is a camera, but I'm sure he will if I just sat there long enough. He's miserable, but other than that, most ball pythons, for the most part, aren't very aggressive. So, in terms of a female attacking a male, being aggressive towards it, or even cannibalism, I have zero concerns about that. I have never put a small male in with a large female and thought that there was going to be any sort of injury to them. Now, I think the other part of that question, or maybe even the original question that Sheba Fox had, was could the female be too heavy, maybe crush the male? Could there be an issue with that? That's a no as well. These animals, even if the female could be 3, 4, 5 times the size of the male, you can't forget how strong these snakes are. Even a small male at 1,000 grams is a solid mass of muscle. So if he needed to get out of the way of that female, if he was or she was crushing his lungs, he would be able to get out of that precarious situation pretty easily. But they're also just giant muscles all the way down their body. And I don't think it would even be possible anyways, because you have to remember that when they're locked up, it's not like her whole body weight is just sitting on top of where the lungs of the male is, or however you want to say he would get suffocated. That weight distribution is spread out through that whole entire tub. So even if she does end up on top of him somehow, all of her weight is still spread out all over the place. Some of it's probably going to be sitting on the tub. Some of it's going to be laying on top of him. But that weight's still going to be distributed, and it's not going to be sitting right on top of him to the point where I'd worry about any sort of suffocation. And these animals have been mating for thousands of years. I don't know how long ball pythons have been around, but snakes in general, whatever. They've been around for a very long time. They know how to do this. And that's why mating in general for snakes, for ball pythons, breeding as a keeper, I don't overthink it too much. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. So I don't try to overthink it. I don't try to intervene too much. The reason that I stopped showing these two was because I don't know if they would unlock if I bother them too much, but I don't want to take that chance because I see them locking up. For me, it's important just to leave them the heck alone and let them do what they were created to do and what they're ready to do as adult ball pythons. So I have zero concerns when you take a ginormous female and a teeny tiny, breeding ready male and put them together to breed. I'm not worried about that male getting attacked. I'm not worried about that male getting suffocated, crushed. I'm not worried about that male getting eaten. It's just not something that I'd worry about with ball pythons. They're not that type of snake. So another good question there. Thank you very much for leaving that. And the rest of you guys, everybody that's watching, if you have questions, if there are things you want me to cover, let me know. I actually keep a list on my phone of all the questions and I usually see most comments. Not 100% of them, but 99% of the comments I see. So if you leave a comment in one of the videos and say, hey, can you show me more ultramels? I'll do that. If you say, hey, can you show me more hatchlings? I can do that. If you say, hey, can you show me what a ringer looks like? I can do that. It's actually probably not a bad video, so I might write that down for myself. See, I just gave myself an idea on a video to make. So let me know. I am, let's see. I have, I think, one clutch due to hatch this month in June. A couple due to be laid. So, I mean, it's not really going to be until late summer where I have a bunch of clutches coming out now that a lot of these girls are starting to grow follicles and starting to get close to ovulation. All of those things are going to be hatching in August, September. So I'm going to have a very busy fall. And a lot of my content at that point is just going to be showing you snakes, showing you clutches getting dropped, showing you clutches hatching, showing you the first sheds, all that sort of stuff. Now, June, some of July is going to be a really good time to cover topics that you guys want me to, that you have questions about, that you want to see. I know the ultrasound video yesterday was probably helpful to a lot of people because people just don't get to see it. If you don't have an ultrasound, people have made videos about it, but it's not something covered frequently. And if you guys like that video, I can try to do that more often. Maybe if I do it once, I'll try to have my wife record it so that, it's not like a static camera angle. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can cover. I don't really have anything that's off limits here in terms of what I'm willing to do or not. So hopefully that answered your question, Sheba Fox. If you guys have any other ones, let me know. And if not, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.